Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the Global Prenatal Services Program, and the Global Prenatal Services Program, they offer different programs: parental training, doula services, lactation consultant, and father support group. This is part of the Black Bundle of Joy. Our founder, who is Faiza Farola, who's now a midwife, she used to be a doula, and she, come across a lot of Black and brown women, mostly descendant from Africa, who were lacking support from their partners and their husband or partners, and she put something together to help the mothers get this support. You doing okay?
Yeah, he has a little bit of a cold.
A little bit of cold. Okay. Yeah, and it's really an important for me. She was doula. I was trained before becoming a father. I am a father of 3 boys, and the oldest is 11. And 11 years ago, she was a doula with the first, our first son, and then the second son, who is now 7 years old, and then the youngest is 4. So she actually was a midwife when we were having our last baby, who is 4 now. So she actually delivered that baby. So she noticed that how important it is for our wives to have a support. And if you look, I also work in the background. I work at the hospitals, and I see how other communities are so supportive in helping or assisting their partners or wives when having baby, from conception to until they have the baby. So she put this program together, just encourage our male African descendants, African Americans, to be able to help our wives and partners get in shape and give them the support that they need. I will just bring a little PowerPoint here to just yeah, this is father-to-father newborn and postpartum support. We will go over just the introductions, as I just mentioned, the icebreaker, and then we will just go through the importance of postpartum support, and then we will go through the postpartum depression. We will go over feeding support, breastfeeding, formula preparation, diapering, the meconium and circumcision, etc. Sleep. We will go over something called purple crying. We will go over something called resuming intimacy. There's a date nights and tea time after birth, contraception, and how to mingle after birth. As I said, my name is Ilyas. I'm one of the trainers, and I asked, what baby you're having? Congratulations, you mentioned you're having a girl. That is a complete life change for any parent. So the important place that we go in, we were getting from here. That's the importance of postpartum support. You know, when you become a parent, your life changed, as we said. It's your life is completely changed, and it will change it for the better, because now, you know, you're by yourself. Of course, you were one, then you become two, and then now you will become three. And when you become three, for you as a father, nothing else actually matters. That, you know, you have a baby, you leave everything behind, and you will think that that is the moment, that's it. You know, you are a father, and you do whatever it takes to change that baby's life for the better. For a mother, you know, after she gives birth, of course, she needs so much from you. She needs, you know, emotional support. She needs physical support. She needs, you know, a lot of support from you. You will see, you know, a wife who has all her family around, but there's some simple touch that she requires to get from you. And if you are there to be supportive, it will make, you know, make her recovery easier. It will put, you know, it will help her stress level reduced. It will help her take care of the baby. And for all of us, you know, when you have a support, you'll be able to help your baby, and you'll be able to also take care of yourself. And for a birth and after birth, it's a dramatic transformation for the wife, and because has just gone through this labor. The labor is a trauma, and if you know you are there, you will see, wow, because how it's just the most miraculous process that you can witness, and that can anyone witness. And this baby that's coming out from that small place, and that small place that comes back together, and all of that hormones that change all of the sudden. Well, we know that when, you know, a woman get pregnant, there are extra hormones that come into her body, and that extra hormones will be reduced suddenly as the baby comes, because the baby that is no longer using those part of the hormones from the mother. So the support that you give to the wife or to the mother will help her recover faster, and it will help her, you know, breast production, and it will reduce her stress, or, you know, of developing a postpartum depression. And there is, you know, so much that you can, you know about postpartum depression. It's triggered by, you know, a lot of things, emotional, and from excitement, from joy to fear, sometimes depression. And as we know, you know, as I said, we are ourselves now, and all of a sudden there's life that comes into our hand, and this life wants to be taken care of. Some people, they worry of, you know, will I be able to take care of this human being that's now in my house? Will I do everything to protect this child? And some of them, you know, you will see they're so happy to, you know, that they're getting a baby, and all of a sudden after birth they go into sadness. And you know, someone who has been so happy and excited to meet their baby, and then right after the birth they'll be so sad. Why? Because there's a lot of change that happens, and when that happens, it's always good to talk to your doctors, to talk to your nurses, to talk to your midwife. There are some, you know, postpartum baby blues that is normal, and it's up to like 80% of women experience that because of, you know, that excitement and fear of, you know, will you be able to help? And there's also a depression that the person will feel, you know, sadness and trouble sleeping. lack of appetite, lack of libido. There's some mood change. There's no interest in the baby, or you're not feeling like you want the baby anymore. Crying spells, depressive mood, anger and crankiness, and you lose the pleasure of everything. You don't feel like yourself. And when that happens, it's always recommended to talk to your healthcare professional. As I said, your doctor, your midwife, and to consult. And if always, if you feel, that you're not yourself, there's a phone number here to call for National Suicide Hotline. And there's a lot of people that can talk to you and put you through, but calling your doctor, and of course, you can call 911, which is easier to call for help, and you'll be taken care of. As a partner and husband and father, your job is to be there for her, whatever she needs, and to just like be a detective, just watch over her, notice the small changes of sadness or crying, or not wanting anything, not wanting to talk to you. And it's normal that she would not want to talk to you. And if she says, I don't want to talk to you, that's fine. But your job is to find at least someone that she can talk to. If it's if there's a friend that she trusts, and if there's a family member that she trusts, and at least for her doctor to call and say, I need you to talk to her. And now there's that love that you can tell, and it will change, and you can tell that someone who loves you so much, and you're the baby's father, and you guys you just went through the most exciting experience of birth, and then all of a sudden she will be like, I don't want to talk to you. And when that happens, then for you should know that that's not what she was, but there's something that is causing her to say that. And that could be, sign of the depression, and you would need to get the help that she needs. And there's a lot of things that could also be contributed to this, and we will go over that. Feeding support is a very important thing. We will start with the baby feeding. So the baby, it's recommended that the baby should be fed at least 6 months breastfed. So for breastfeeding, because it requires every 2-3 hours to be fed, you will know that there is a sleep deprivation that comes, and when that happens, you have to wake her up after 2 hours, because the baby does not eat anything else. And the first 6 months, it's highly recommended baby just pure and simple, pure breast milk, because that's beneficial for the baby.
So sorry to cut you off. So every 2 hours you have to wake up and feed the baby.
That is correct.
3 hours. Okay.
That is correct. At least for the first week.
Okay. So even at night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every 2 to 3 hours, depending how the baby eats. Some babies, the babies are different. Some babies, when they're born the first week, they're like, they're still getting used to the eating and the drinking of the milk. And there is also lactation support that will help you. But some babies they're just a natural normal, and they will suckle right away, and they will get they will eat good, and some of them they do not. So, but at least the recommendations is 2 to 3 hours the first week, and the breast milk, it's just it comes after birth, like 2 to 3 days. But there is some important nutrition that comes from the nipple of the mother. That is, it has it's rich in calories, and it's just for the baby. So for this reason, the babies don't feed more often. They tend to lose little weight, because when they are born, you know, they're like, you know, so big, because of, you know, adjusting to the eating process and knowing, you know, getting to know how to eat. They may lose some weight, and the doctors will tell you that when they are having the checkups. That's why they say bring after 2 weeks you bring the baby back to make sure that, you know, they're gaining the weight again. So they lose like up to 10% of their weight during that, you know, week or two when they're born. So there's like formula that you can give, you know, every 2-3 hours after the first week, after 6 months. And it's the way that you prepare it. They normally write in the bottles, but normally it's 2 ounces of water and 1 scoop of the formula that you mix together to give. So yeah, so for you, you know, the baby may be crying, and he may need to eat. Mom is resting, especially the first few weeks. It's very crucial for the mom to get as much rest as possible. You know, if you have a job, you know, it's always nice to prepare and get ready to take some time off. I know, you know, some fathers, they have jobs that don't give them, you know, a maternity leave and so forth. Some are, you know, self-employed, and they can take time off whenever they want. But it's just for you to make sure, at least the first, you know, 2-3 weeks, it's important for you to be by her side to, you know, help as much as you can, because a lot of things that you can do can lessen the depression and can help her not to go into that, you know, depression mood. First off, sleep deprivation, because of someone who just put their head down could be waking up for, you know, feeding a baby or taking care of the baby. If you are not there to help her, that could put a lot of pressure on her, and that could, you know, trigger a lot of other things for her. So for you, it's better to plan that ahead, and get some time off to be with her to help the baby. So here's the needs of the mom that, you know, just talking through. And she needs to eat well, and if she doesn't eat well, then the baby does not eat well. Normally, for the woman, she gets, you know, 200 calories per day. So because now she is feeding someone else, she is required to have extra 300 calories of variety of foods, you know, your soups, porridges, and veggies, meat, fruit, and a lot of water, of course. The water is always good for breast protection. It's always good to have that. And for you, then you have to make sure that, you know, the refrigerator is stacked with food. What I used to do is, you know, when my wife was, she had the baby, I brought all the fruits that I could bring, and I was making smoothies constantly. Those rich with calories and nutrition, including avocados and spinach, carrots, pineapple, you know, all of the fruits that you can bring, and make smoothies constantly. And she may say, you know, I don't want this, but, you know, you just have to push her, say, hey, drink it. If she doesn't eat food, you know, sometimes she may not eat whole, like rice and pasta and all of that. Sometimes she may say, I don't want this, but you have to make sure that she drinks, especially those nutrition drinks, the smoothies and so forth. So in order for her to feed the baby, she has to feed herself too. And if it's by herself, she may be, you know, lazy going to the kitchen and fixing some plates for herself. But you are there, if you are there, or if somebody else is there to help her, and you bring the plate into her lap, of course that she will try, and that's very good. She's required to have a plan of rest, and in order for her to prepare, just to feed the baby, and just to train herself to how to feed the baby. It's highly recommended that she is rested. The first 2 weeks is very crucial because the baby is training how to get how to get ready how to eat. So there is, of course, for you, there will be another job for you, that is, diaper change in and out. At this point, babies, their job is to eat, sleep, and poop and pee. So for you, it's just like make sure that they are clean, and to know that the diaper change. If you want practice, you can always reach out to me. We can meet somewhere. We can go over the changes of the diaper. I know it was hard for me. It's hard for a first father because of this small a human being that you have to nurture and clean and all of that. So there's so many ways that gets into that. My email, you have it, my phone number, I wrote it. You can always reach out to me. So for the first week or so, there's that poop that comes from the baby, and that is very sticky. It's called the meconium. That's the nutrition from the nutrition that the baby was getting from the mom, from the placenta. So because they didn't have that normal food, they have that sticky poop, and that is very hard to clean up sometimes, and it could stick on that very frail skin of the baby. You have to make sure that to clean that very smoothly, and every time you change it out, it's recommended to put some oil, some Vaseline oil, so it won't stick in there. And
on the body, on the skin.
Yeah, you just put the like olive oil. That's what we used. You just put that olive oil before you put the diaper in the skin, and then you put the diaper. So when the baby goes to the bathroom, then the oil will help not to stick on the skin. So that's highly recommended. So we've talked about sleep, and the baby sleeps for the first 2 weeks. The baby should always be slept on their backs, because the baby don't have the ability to turn themselves around. If you put them into their side, they may roll over, and once they roll over, they may have an accident or sudden infant death. That's what they call it. And to protect that, the baby should always be put on their back to sleep. So when they go there, and they have the ability to turn themselves around, and all of that. That's and the long run. But for now, the baby should always be put on their back, and to protect this kind of injury and disaster. The first 2 weeks, as we said, if the baby does not wake up, every 2 to 3 hours should be awakened to nurse them, in order for them to get the nutrition they need to gain their weight back that they have lost, that 10% of weight that they have lost. And babies gain, and you will see it. You will just be like the baby getting they're getting small and this and that, and before you know it, you just see those thighs and cheeks and all of that
Gaining weight.
Oh yeah. So it's just like you take to the doctor, and they get weight, and for some reason that's why they check the baby after 2 weeks, and then every 2 months for the doctors to make sure that the baby's growing well and all of that. And this is another very important thing, that you have to take shifts. You cannot rely on one parent, because that will lessen the stress and the workload for her and for you. You have to take shifts. Hey, I will hold, especially when you start feeding bottle, when you start to that she's able to put her breast milk into the bottle, and you're able to feed the baby, especially at that time. You just need to get to know how to warm the bottle, the bottle, what temperature that to give to the baby, and then you can let her sleep as much rest as she can get. And then you just to get the baby, once the baby wants to eat, or after 2 hours, you just give that and you let her sleep. But the first 2 weeks is very important, because they want that connection with the baby. But after 2-3 weeks or 4 weeks, you will get that milk, and the milk is flowing. You will just feed the baby with the bottle. So you let her sleep, and then you put the baby down, and when she wakes up, you exchange shifts, and then you go and rest. But if someone, if that's only her that is doing all of this by herself, waking the baby up, feeding, and then sleeping with the baby, and then the baby wakes up, and then she wakes up, that's where the sleep deprivation comes. And when the sleep deprivation comes, then other things, other stresses will begin. So in order not to happen that, it's better to take shifts.
So for the first week, I have to do it, so she have to have a good rest, right?
Yeah, but for the first week before, right after birth, it's gonna be hard, because the baby may not, drink from a bottle.
Oh, okay.
So she has to, if not 2 hours, at least 3 hours, she has to wake up. Or if she's sleeping, you have to wake her up and bring the baby to her. She feeds, and make sure that she's awake when you're handing the baby to her. Sometimes what happens is mom is, because of the all of these, she's so exhausted, and then you will hand the baby and she's not holding because she's still asleep. So you need to wake her, make sure that she's totally awake before you hand the baby to her. And then have her feed, and of course be by her side.
Yeah.
And as she's done, you take the baby, you let her sleep.
Okay.
Then the baby has eaten, and he may cry or she may cry. Then you have to because if she's crying, then that she's not hungry, because she just had she just got fed. So you can just soothe her and put her to sleep, but have the mother sleep and rest.
Okay.
So that's the when you come in the following weeks after birth, when you have the ability to store your milk and give to her, then you don't have to wake her up. So you just take the baby, warm the milk for her, and then just to give that milk. So speaking of crying, there's this thing called purple crying. Babies cry all the time, and it's normal. But there may be sometimes that crying becomes abnormal. So baby's job is just now to cry, to eat, and drink and sleep and poop and go to the bathroom. But some babies are just born. I hope that your baby don't become this way, but some babies, they just cry. It's just their nature. They're born with that. They just cry for nothing. So what happens is, when, especially if you're a first parent, you have the baby crying, what's wrong, and you get frustrated. And if you get frustrated, especially if you are just one person and there's no any other person there helping you, you'll be frustrated. And what happens is there is accident that happens, and babies get, maybe shaken. And if you just get so frustrated, and you may, shake the baby. And when you shake that baby, it's called baby shaking syndrome. The baby's brain gets injured, and it could cause a disability, and even, a very disastrous thing. And the baby could die too from that injury. So in order not to happen that, so you have to know that baby cry is normal. Sometimes some babies cry more than other babies, and you just have to make sure a few things. First, you have to make sure that if is the baby hungry. So, when their baby hungry, they cry. You feed the baby. Now, hunger is out of the way. The baby is not hungry anymore, but it's still crying. You check the diaper, the baby has a dirty diaper. Sometimes if babies, even though they're so small, if they have, some dirty diaper, they could, cry, and they want to be changed and clean it up. And you, of course, you check the second thing, is the diaper okay? Do they have a dirty diaper? Then you change the diaper, and, you will know that that's not the case. And you clean up the baby. There's no, nothing else. But the baby is still crying. Why is it crying? You, of course, it's always recommended to have a temperature thermometer at home to check the baby's temperature when that happens. And you check the temperature of the baby. They don't have a fever, and then, but they're still crying. Any body injury, the skin is normal, there's no rash, there's nothing, then you will say, hey, this is just the baby crying, and it's called purple crying. And that is there's a peak time for that, and normally it will come down eventually, but just the first 3 months or so is the peak, and then they will become normal. So after you check all of this and the baby is still crying, there are a few things that is suggested, that you just put the baby on her back and you just sit relax. I know that sometimes as a parent, it is very difficult to watch your baby cry and just to sit. But sometimes that's the best thing to do, because the babies, they're not, the baby's okay, they don't have anything, but they're still crying. You just to put that there. If you get frustrated, I mean, if you are at work, and she gets frustrated, she has to give you a call and saying, I'm frustrated, can you come home? And no matter what, you just leave work, come home, give her a break. Just say, if you have upstairs, downstairs, go downstairs, just relax, or take the baby to downstairs and then have her, take a rest. If you call anyone else other than, the father, you make sure that you tell, you have to call someone, because you're frustrated. And if you don't call someone, then it will go into that disaster that we're talking about. So you just have to call someone, friend, family member, but you have to tell them the baby has a crying issue. Please don't shake, don't, just watch for me until I take that time. You have to warn the person, because they will carry the baby and they may just do the same thing that we were talking about, and they may get frustrated or shake. There are few things that is suggested. Sometimes babies will, calm down if you just make some sound. Some people, they suggest to, turn on a vacuum. That noise of a vacuum actually soothes them. Sometimes it's recommended for you to put the baby on a car seat, but in the car, you drive around the neighborhood, and by the time you come back home, the baby may fall asleep or may calm down. But things that you don't want to do is just to, shake that baby and to cause that baby to get injured. It's very serious injury, And that's called the purple crying. And of course, you know, if you have any questions, and when you get out of the hospital or the midwife, you should have numbers. Make sure that you keep those numbers, where to call if anything happens, the doctor's office, the nurse's office, the midwife. Make sure that you have all of those numbers. So if anything unusual happens that you don't know, you contact the, you know, the doctors and you know, the nurse and the midwives. And this happens mostly in the evening or in the afternoon. And most of that's why you get frustrated, because it may be time that you just come from work, it's an evening and you just want to rest. But then the baby, he doesn't care. Hey, you know what? You know, I'm gonna cry. But that's when you get frustrated, you're tired and you want to take a rest. But the baby is just, you know, another story, and the baby is crying. So that's very important. I couldn't emphasize more to be careful in this situation. Now we get into the, you know, intimacy time, because as we know, you know, now you have been so intimate and you created something special. You created a baby. That baby came from love, and it also will create some trauma when it comes to the labor and birth. And as I said, you know, if you are there and you witness how the baby comes, you can just, you know, it's just the most miraculous thing that you see, how that pelvis of the woman expands and how the baby comes, and all of that is a trauma for her. So for a wife or partner, it takes time to go back to being intimate. As for us, you know, a father or a man, we may want to go back to, you know, the mingling and you know, all of that date nights, but for the mother, she might not be ready. So you, as a, you know, father, you just have to take it slow. And of course, you know, for her, because she had baby, she may think in her head, oh, you're not beautiful anymore because you had a baby and you're breastfeeding and you are, you know, now a mother. She may be thinking that you are thinking, you know, that I have changed, and he thinks that I have changed it because I'm a mother. So that's why when you come in, that, you know, those gentle touches and those date nights and those, you know, intimates, you have to plan things and say, you know, let's find someone, if you have a family members, you know, around, to watch the baby over, to take her out, to have a date night, just talk things through, make things better than they were before she was a mother, because it is honestly, it is, for mothers, it's the most important thing that you can do, to just tell her how beautiful she is, even after the baby, that how more beautiful she had become after the baby. Because some women think once you had a baby, hey, you are, you know, you're done, and he may not be attracted to you as before. But the reality is she becomes more attractive because of, you know, the caring that she's doing now. She was by herself before, but now there's a baby in there and she's caring for that baby. Just watching her nurture that baby or feed that baby, you know, is unbelievable. And you will see it all. You will have to get that more love from watching her take care of your baby. So you slowly by slowly you resume intimacy. Intimacy does not mean just to, you know, be in bed, but it really means that being affectionate, being, you know, so close to each other, just holding each other, even when she gets the baby, as long as she is okay with it, to just being, you know, snuggling and holding and having, let's go and have some tea. And when the baby is able, you could, you know, put in their car seat you know, and take the baby with you. And sometimes, you know, that's what we used to do on our first baby. We used to, some of them, they, you know, they just cry, just put their stroller and the car seat, and we cover them, and we're sitting there, you know, chatting and talking about important things, and the baby is sleeping. But when the baby wakes up, you know, you just bring it out, and you feed the baby, and you're coming home. So now you have one baby, but in the future, if you decide to have another one, of course, the life will change, because now you have one, but there's another one now. How many years in between of the two babies? You know, if you have, for example, if you decide to have baby after 2 years, that's, you know, the other baby will be 2 years old, 3, 4 years. So it depending how the, you know, babies are, because some babies will go to school and the other one will stay home. Like for us, our first baby, we had 4 years in between, and then honestly, ours, the 3 boys did not sleep at night time. So that's the some babies, they just, it's just, they sleep during the daytime, they don't sleep at night. Hopefully yours won't be that way.
Sleep at night time.
Yeah, that's the night babies, you know. I was, and that's easier when there's one baby, but when another baby comes, and it has the same schedule, and the older one already switched the schedule to, you know, for example, when we had the, you know, the first baby, it was fine, you know, my wife, I was going to sleep, and in the morning when I woke up and going to work, they were coming to bed, both of them.
No.
Right? So it was just all night they were up, and then all day, for, you know, they were sleeping. It's easier because there's one baby. But then when after 4 years, when the other baby came, and our older one is going to school, 4 years later, the other baby was the same. So he was not sleeping during the, you know, nighttime, only until they were 2 years old. I mean, after 2 years old, they were okay, but until they're 2 years old, they were just that way. What I'm saying is, it's easier for the mother when there's a one baby, because they, you know, whenever, you know, you have when the baby is napping, even if it's, you know, 10 minutes, you don't waste that. As a mother, you don't waste that. You just go with the baby, take a nap with the baby. When the baby wakes up, you wake up. So that is but when the other baby comes, you know, sometime, it's I said I hope it won't be like ours, but you know, it's something to plan ahead. So sometimes, you know, I had to change my schedule at work to make sure that I either drop the first one to school and let her sleep, or, you know, hold the baby for, you know, I will come late, call in work, I will come late today because I want, you know, her to rest a little bit. You just have to work with the schedule. Now you have a family, and, you know, work doesn't matter actually, because you have to first take care of the family, especially the wife. And, you know, if the wife is happy, everything is good. If the wife is not, you know, happy, then everything is not happy. So happy wife, happy life. That's what they say, people, right? So you just have to take, you know, advantage of that. And this brings us to the family planning. So how long do you want to have another baby after this one? It's just something to talk about, you know, maybe after all of this pain and birth and all of that goes through, then you will just have, you know, oh, is it time now to have another baby or not? There's things that you, of course, you should discuss this with your midwife or your doctor, but there are a few things that you can do, because you don't want to get pregnant after, you know, after you just had a baby. There's some families, especially, you know, I'm from Somalia in Africa. There's just like, you know, every year when this baby is born, there's another baby right away. When this baby is like, they're literally, the babies are older than in the time that they were in the stomach. 9 months, then it's done, boom, the other baby comes. And then, so the mother never gets a break, because the uterus is just constantly getting, and that will, you know, as health professionals say, that will create, you know, it's unhealthy for the mother. And it's always nice to take a break, to make sure that, you know, you don't get pregnant right away, because you just want to take care of this one first, and then take it slow, take it easy. Few things that, you know, you can do, and of course, you know, you will talk with your doctor, but just to mention a few of the contraception or, you know, things that can help you to not get pregnant are, you know, some pills, you know, form of, you know, tablets, pills to prevent you from getting pregnant. There's implant, there's like the intrauterine device, or IUD, that, you know, the wife can use. There's implant that you can use. There are shots that you can use. There are condoms that you can use to prevent pregnancy. There's something called diaphragm that, you know, you can use, and all of that, of course, you know, your midwife or doctor can explain to you more. There's vasectomy or tubal ligation, that where they tie the tube, or, you know, you do, that's a permanent thing, that if you don't want to have another babies, then you could just do that. But if you want to do that, you know, temporarily, you can use those until you feel ready. You know, you just want to be ready, even, you know, when you're having a baby. It's not just like, you know, I'm having a baby, so you just have to be ready. So if you don't use any of those, what will happen is that there may be accident that would happen, that you may not ready for another baby, but then, hey, you're pregnant. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, that's your baby and you you take care of it, but it is different when you plan to have a baby and when you don't. So just to make sure that, you know, you don't get pregnant right away, talk to your doctors and midwife and nurses to make sure that, you know, your options of preventing pregnancy. Yeah, this is the, you know, the group mingling that I was talking about, that you take your baby, you know, discuss with other fathers what you can, you know, ask questions. What do you want? As I said, you know, I give you the, you know, the information. If you have any questions, because I've been there, you know, someone who has been there, who took care of you know, a mother and a baby. It's always nice to reach out, you know, just don't shy about anything, you know, just say, hey, what can I do? I'm having this situation. I will ask, you know, if I don't, I will ask my other, you know, circle group professionals to answer your question. But it's always nice to reach out and to come. We also do the, you know, support group once every Friday, that we talk about, you know, everything to parenting, you know, that you can do, and people share their experience. I will send you the link so you can just join. You can have, you know, tea time with our group. You can come and, you know, ask questions. Everything is, you know, open for you. So do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. So the thing, about like changing the diapers and how to put the oil, the olive oil and stuff. Yeah, for that I might need the training, because I never done it before.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
You or me, one of like other members.
Yeah.
One of days before do this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we will make a practice session, and you can come to the center if you have time, and we will go over that. Okay. yeah, I will let you know when I have some other members who are interested too. So I will let you know, and then we will do that group demonstration together. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So and then it's just easier, and also how to rub the baby also.
Oh,
We'll
yep,
practice,
yeah, how to carry the baby and stuff.
how to carry the baby.
Also,
Yeah.
and how to make her fall asleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All of that, because the baby is just the holding, especially, if you haven't been, I'm trained, I give shots to the babies all the time. I'm trained at Seattle Children's, and I'm a medical assistant in my other job, and I give shots all the time to kids. So we had to be trained. Luckily, I was trained how to hold the baby. There's a few ways to hold the baby, few ways to soothe them, the babies, to put them to sleep. We will go over. I will send you the information when it's when are you due, you said?
June 23rd.
June 23rd. Okay. Yeah. So we will make sure that we have that session before that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can send me an email whenever.
Yeah. I will send you the email, and then when you come there, and the center will, if you really need it, they will give you a free car seat, and then they will give you for participating in this program, they will give you 100 gift card that you can use for anything, and don't say no to anything. Just a little advice. If you are having a baby,
we're not gonna say no.
Yes. So you're having a baby, even if you have so
Everything
much,
helps.
every penny that you put aside for your baby or for you counts. So if you get any help, if it's something that you can use it, do not say no. Okay. And yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, for now that will be it. And then if
Yeah. So again, as I said, and I think you're the wife, you're seeing one of my colleagues too for the training. Did you?
So I think it's May 18th.
May 18th.
I signed up for the birthing class.
For the birthing class. Okay. It's very good. Yeah, I'm glad that you are doing that. So it's very good. I took the birthing class too. It's very, a lot of it's very beneficial, because as I said, there's a lot of things as a first parents that we don't know, and they will take you through all of that. But and for us as fathers, we just have to make sure that we're there. We're there, and a lot of these African Americans now they're getting better too, but in the previous generations, they were like, mother with a child.
Yeah,
nowhere to be found, and it's a lot of stress and trauma for the mother to go through by herself. So I'm glad that you are there. Where are you from originally?
Ethiopia.
Hey, Ethiopia. Hey, see that we're Somalian, so we were.
Yeah, we all family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We gotta support each other. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you get some benefit out of this class.
Yes,
thank you so much for.
You're very welcome. Okay.
And I'll see you soon.
Okay, I will send you the information for that. Okay, and we will just meet. We'll just meet in our center, and we will go over that.
All right, sure. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.